All right, welcome everyone. We're with you here right now. Bear with us just a few moments. I am kind of working on just a few things here. Um, so bear with me here just a few moments, guys, while I just get everything up here. All righty. How's everyone doing today? All right, you there, Mortal?
I am here.
All right, so it's Travel Gaming here with Mortal. How's everyone doing today, guys?
Hey, what's going on, champions? It is post-blog reveal.
Post-blog reactions, what I would call it.
I have not been on here for the past few days. For those that have been living under a rock, I had cataract surgery this past Tuesday, so I'm feeling a little bit better. Hopefully, I'll be back at least at 100% come view time tomorrow, and I'll be able to put up some really big numbers. But other than that, I am really excited about this post-blog reveal. I kind of had a feeling I knew where this was going, considering the Otterline or BG era character as a motor character. I was pretty surprised too they brought him to the game. I was actually blindsided. I was hoping we get another BG era character, but the person that they ended up putting out this time around was a big surprise.
Yeah, it was. I'm not surprised on it. I figured we'd eventually get one of that, so I'm not really surprised it's Drew. Scopely kind of dropped the ball and put it on the thing early on the portal earlier with their schedule. So I'm not really surprised at the end of the day on that one as much as I normally would be. So that's something I'm not really surprised on. But Drew McIntyre is going to be the CCS this weekend. We are finally getting the chosen one, Drew. This is one I wish that we could have the wish music was allowed so we could get Drew's music in. I don't know how the chat feels, but that's just how I feel. And I've got the blog screenshots pulled up just because I want everyone just to kind of see what's going on and all that within it. Especially with it being Feud, I want everyone to be able to see the lineups and all that that's coming this weekend. So that's something I do want everyone to see. Yeah, 3MB. You're gonna have his gear in there. That's a big one. So that's something I'm definitely looking forward to when it comes to that.
It makes me wonder now that Drew's getting his 3MB gear. It makes me wonder if Jinder Mahal will be next to get that gear as well.
That is a good question. I kind of hope it does, but you just never know. Next Heath Slater, right? Probably be with the TNA thing there, three angles. So let's go over this here, guys. Let's go over the tours first. Before we get into Feud, let's go through the tours first as far as what we're looking at within the tours. Because I don't want to go through this part without this part. So that's just not something I want to do here. And then, So let's look at this here. First things first. Friday, the 24-hour contest, people. Drew McIntyre, the chosen one. So you're gonna have a tour for Friday for 24 hours only. You're also gonna have a babyface challenge. On normal and hard, it's gonna be any Raw. On Hell Mode, it's gonna be any SmackDown. I'm interested to see what that's gonna turn into with it a babyface. How they're gonna differentiate that. If they're gonna differentiate that. So that'd be interesting. Friday also, you got the Raquel Rodriguez, the Judgment Day tour. So your 2 steps are going to be in on that for sure. You know, with your portal and your, the match. Also on Friday, you got a Let Me Talk to You manager tour. So you've got Raquel Rodriguez, the powerhouse. Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez, or Drew McIntyre, the chosen one. Also on Friday, you got the self-made one. So any Drew McIntyres that we have in the game that are not zombies or special editions. So Tech McIntyre, Master of the Claymore McIntyre, and the Chosen One McIntyre. You also got Dash and Cody on Friday. So you need the story continues, the American Nightmare, or finish the story. We will have videos of those builds up by tomorrow, I promise you. On Saturday, you got the Miz or Mrs. Miss or Mrs. So Maxine Dupree, Alpha Academy, Jacqueline, Miss Jacqueline, or Maurice, Ms. and Mrs. are the contest superstars for that. Also on Saturday, right after the second feud ends, you've got the Ministry of Darkness tour coming out with any Ministry of Darkness. Viscera, Ministry of Darkness. Taker, Ministry of Darkness for Root or Bradshaw. So that's very interesting on that. I would say, at the end of the day. Then on Sunday, you've got a PG tour with any PG errors. So those of you who don't have a PG error up, going to definitely need to hit your solo points. You're also going to have a Chloe's mom. I guess that's just a weird way of playing on Stacy's mom with any Tori Wilson. Sunday, you're also going to have a Hunter Was Here with any Triple H. And then also on Sunday, you're going to have an It's Raw tour with Rhea Ripley, Mommy on Top, Zelina Vega, Queen Zelina, or Nikki Cross, Abby the Witch. Very, very interesting tour schedule, I think I would say. Kind of interesting they threw the Raquel on Friday. I think that's a change that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, that's a complete change up on their part. And then too, on Sunday, if you don't have Abby the Witch or Show Up Rhea, it's going to be very interesting to see if you can get your Queen Zelina and the Smack just enough to get those tours done.
Well, we'll take a look at Queen Zelina tonight, for the chat, and then, like I said, I'll have those videos up as well. Welcome, Dabby. Welcome, Three Angles. So that'll be interesting. But let's really deep dive into this. So we all know what tomorrow's lines are going to be. That I don't think has changed at all. Other than Drew McIntyre will be the top line bonus, as always with CCS. So I feel like we've had a week now to prepare for Feud. I don't think many lineups are going to change now, for Friday night, because the boost and all that are all the same. Saturday's when it starts getting interesting. And this is the one I really find interesting here, because Saturday, that middle line is very attainable. Very attainable with any Undertaker at 6-star silver. Probably going to see a lot of powerhouses.
Yeah. And for that too, I believe it was the last MLC, they had that collection competition to where they had that the Phenom, the Powerhouse Undertaker that you should have been able to get at 6-star gold.
Yeah, what gets me on this one though, and this is I think where I'm looking at it from, is I would use Ministry of Darkness Taker in that Undertaker spot, but then needing another showboat. And that's where I feel like you could run into some problems there. I mean, you could run Ray. The feud perks are definitely going to play a role in all this as far as who you run. CM Punk's the top line, Voice of the Voiceless. That makes sense with them requiring PG, the first one. That makes a lot of sense there. So having that top line bonus is going to be big as well. CM Punk an open slot on the top line. Any Undertaker at 6-star silver. Any Showboat at 6-star in an open spot. And then any Raw at 5-star, any Acrobat, any Attitude in an open slot there on the bottom. Middle line is going to give you a starting 1 MP, 50% yellow move damage, and a 20% war score boost. Where the bottom line is going to get you green MP at +1, 25% black gem damage, and a 10% war score boost. There are different perks for each feud, though, so let's look at what the perks are going to be for the second feud here. So for the second feud, yellow gem damage is going to do 50% more damage, 100% color turn gem damage, 100% yellow move damage, and 50% black gem damage. Man, I may have to look at how I run Taker differently this weekend.
Yep.
150% yellow move damage, that's just crazy.
I believe 2 is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, Get the Tables Devon. It does have a color turn gym setup that could be very nasty too.
He does. Again, I think you're looking at something very interesting here with that bonus there and the line. I feel like
with that yellow.
With
yellow gem and yellow move, really. And then if you have the arcade overload plate, I really think Hall of Fame Goldberg was actually going to be pretty damn stout this turnaround.
You know, I think he'll be used in the first feud. I don't think he'll be used as much in the second feud. That's just my opinion. At the end of the day, just because Striker's not required. And then you got for Saturday night, this is when we shift into females. So 2 males right off the bat, then shifted straight into the females. Rhea Ripley, Mommy on top in an open spot. Any Nikki Cross at 6-star silver. Any Striker at 6-star and open. Any Raw at 5-star. Any Powerhouse. Any New Gen on the female side and an open spot. The New Gen one is the one that concerns me because there's not a lot of options on that. It's either
I want to see a lot of your Bulls at least, if not 6-star bronze, at least 6-star silver.
I think you're going to see a lot of Nikia Lion or a lot of Alundra Blazes. Also, another one that gets added into that is the 80s Liv. She's one who gets added into that, so that'll be interesting as well. Red Moon, especially with the 1 green MP, I just don't know if it's worth changing the move setup on that Liv, that 80s Liv for that. That's where I would kind of question it at the end of the day. Because I don't know if that would be worth it. You know what I mean? But she doesn't run a green move anyway. So, on the middle line, you're going to get a 1 MP, 50% red move damage, 20% war score boost. Always the same boost if you have the top line. Yeah, I kind of do too. 3 angles. And then for the bottom line, 1 green MP, 25% column break damage, 10% war score boost. Let's look at the boost on this one, because this is the one that's got me really thinking here. As far as the steel cage rules go, 50% red move damage, 100% sub gem damage, 50% multiply damage, 100% column break damage. I feel like people are going to run Liv triple red just off that fact. Maybe.
If you're not running Liv triple red, I see a lot of people running Lyra if you got her.
That's the other one I was looking at, Lyra. Now I'm looking at, do I change up the moveset and run the E-plate with the blue, purple, blue? So that is very interesting to say the least for a Saturday night feud. And then you go into Sunday here. Top line's going to be Jacqueline, Miss Jacqueline. Open slot, any Tori Wilson at 6-star silver. We'll get into that one here in a minute. Any Showboat at 6-star and open slot. Any Raw, any Trickster, any Hall of Fame, any open slot. The middle rows of starting MP, 50% reinforced gem damage, 20% war score boost. Think we all know who's going in the middle line for everyone.
That's going to be, if you got her, you got her. If you know, you know. Right in the middle, Smith Shomo is going to be Shomo Austin, right off the rip.
No, I don't think it'd be Oscar. I think it's going to be Maxine. I think you're going to see a lot more Maxine.
Oh, I don't know. It's going to be up there. Either way, you're going to run into 6 gold. I guarantee you that. I don't expect for any of them to be less than 6 silver.
Yeah, that 3 angles. That's, when I'm looking at when I'm thinking of a reaction right off the bat, that is the one I'm looking at. A lot of sub boosts for a lot of sub reversal people, and that's kind of interesting. The bonuses for Sunday's feud are going to be 50% green gem damage, 100% leech gem damage, 100% sub damage, and 100% reinforced gem damage. So this is where my question comes from, though. All these damn sub reversals, and we're putting major fucking shit on sub damage. Someone explain that to me.
Well, they want to see, like you said, this game is not based on counter for counter. Are you really going to put in someone that has sub moves, and when you know there's now officially more than 50% of these females that have sub reversals? Are you really willing to risk that?
I don't know what that answer is. I'm going to be honest there. I don't know what that answer is. Because that is very interesting when I look at it. 125% submission damage. Some of these newer subs do deadly damage as it is. So adding 125% of that.
Gone. Are they, or like with see Chelsea, you get that you get a sub reversal. She is that sub reversal. You're pretty much already done. You have to flip it on your damn HP.
Yeah. So that's.
Now, as far as the 50% green gem boost and the 100% reinforced for the steel cage, like I said, you got Maxine, you got Tech Flare. I mean, they're going to be very insane come for that for the finale. I mean, you're looking at serious damage.
Yeah, and that's the thing I'm looking at here, is the damage that you're looking at when it comes to that, because that is kind of crazy.
I mean, I'm running Tech Flare with 2 gym plates, and she's done. She knocks him out the ballpark, turn 1. I'm not gonna rip with 2 plates I got on her, but she gets the job done every time.
Yeah, and that's where I'm gonna. Yeah, I know as top players hate subs, but this to me is even going a little crazy, in my opinion. Because you're playing subs.
It's going to be very interesting considering the fact that normally 9 times out of 10 it's your first and your third flash feuds are usually the challenging ones. But it seems to me like the first 3 are going to be a knockout of the ballpark. That'll make this last one very challenging when it comes to trying to gather up those points at the last minute.
Well, and usually the second one's always the roughest because, it's only a 4-hour feud, but it seems like the points are going to be there this weekend with that. Again, this is all, reaction based here, but just looking at it, I'm just like, man, this is crazy.
I can guarantee you, as of right now, no matter whether it's the first, the fourth, the third, the second, it's not going to matter. You're going to have to literally play outside the box, get out of your comfort zone, and you're just going to have to go gun-ho and turn 1 if you can. This is why I feel like this is one of those feuds. That's what it's going to pull down to.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a turn 1 feud. That's guaranteed at this point. It's definitely going to be a turn one feud. But I feel like all feuds are turn one feuds. But I feel like with the subs, you might see some players play a little bit more subs this weekend. And that's, drawing some concern as far as, what I want to run, right? Like, because looking at it, it's drawing concerns in that sense.
Because you're going to have those that are going to try to run those subs that quote unquote slow you down point wise and feud. That's why I'm like, turn one, if you got them, get them in there, in and out as quick as possible. I mean, I'm not worried about points at the end of the day. Just as long as I'm in and out of those feuds as fast as possible, so I can keep going. That's all I'm going to really. That's my point. That's my main point as far as trying to get as many points as possible.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know how this is going to play out this weekend. I think it's going to be very interesting with the way it plays out. I'm going to hold my breath on that here with this. Because that is something that I am very interested in as far as seeing how this is going to work. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to run an ad break real quick. We'll be right back with some setups for feud, both male and female. Alright, I'm going to try something here. I don't know if it's going to work like I want it to, but I'm going to try something here.
I hope so. I don't know. I think a lot of people are try to quote unquote hold the line when it comes to those subs.
Actually, I'm not going to try this because it's not going to work like I want it to anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to go get something to drink real quick. While we're on break here. And YouTube's been picking up on views too. That's been crazy. All right, guys, we're back. Appreciate everyone coming back with us here. So let's look at some lineups here. Some different things that you can run after I get my expedition in. So let's look at this here. So looking at these bonuses here, there's one here that I know people are going to ask me why I'm not running this on the bottom line. And I'm going to go ahead and explain myself. I feel like Hall of Fame DDP is going to be so fucking OP this weekend, especially tomorrow night. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but that's how I'm feeling. Mortal, your thoughts?
Yeah. Three angles, I wouldn't be too surprised. I really do see that happening in the near future. Most definitely.
Most definitely, but I just feel like the hit's just not there. 40 million's 40 million.
Anyway. Not yet, anyways. But I mean, it eventually it will get there, just not soon enough.
Yeah, I don't think Taker got that big of an increase. That's just my opinion.
I mean, I can get mine to hit just because I got a strap. I can move around between him and good grief, who was the other character? Redneck Austin, PH Austin. I got a strap. I can maneuver between him and that Firehouse Taker to where I can get him to hit, finding him to hit.
So I'm looking at how I'm going to run this right now, because I did pick the thing with the +4. So really, Taker's not on the middle line there. Who do I have on the middle line? Okay, yeah. That makes more sense there. So really with the +4, I only need a 2. Still don't think I'm going to change the yellow move out for the first one. Yeah, the 6-star medals does help with that. I would agree there, Three Angles. Yeah, I'm not gonna change up what's worked for me. I'm just not.
This is those you want to go as much as you can to match, I guess, the bonuses, not so much with the line bonuses, but also the steel cage bonuses, so to speak. But
Well,
I know if I got those turn ones and I know that I can just get in, get out, then that's what I'm running.
well, it's an MP thing, and that's what I'm really looking at here. I'm looking at it from an MP standpoint. Knowing I get a +2 on this, Piper gives me the other one, so that the other 2, so that helps me, allows me to run a certain someone that I like to run here. So I never use props, Three Angles. That's something I never do.
Lucky enough, Triangles, there are some of us here within the faction that are fortunate enough to have an affiliation strap by one particular superstar that has been most helpful now. And then I'm still lacking one more affiliation strap for one more dual MP superstar that I still need.
6. Still going to have to run the sub on Cena, but I'm okay with that. So I'm just setting up my lineups right now, guys. Being able to run this is definitely helpful, though. God, that's definitely helpful. That's why I never carry them, Three Angles. Why I never carry them.
The only place you can't use props unless it is part of the steel cage rules is Showdown.
Look, I never use them. That's just me personally. Don't like the fact that the only belt I got for that era is a.
I only use them if I have to, and that's only for boss battle. If the situation calls for it. And as of right now, going through all the testing I'm going through right now at home, I might not be at 100% for the first flash, but for second flash and beyond, I will be at 100%.
All I know is you better be running all 4 feuds,
I'm running.
start to finish. That's all I'm gonna say.
I got like I said, I got my turn 1 killers. I'm not even gonna pay attention to the bonuses. I'm not even worried about that. I may have to, just for the fact that some people may be running. What's that word I'm looking for?
I never look. I don't worry about the bonuses. Yeah, so that's what I did. I'm actually doing that already. 3 Angles. I'm running the bonus for that. I've got the purple MP, so I got to remember that I've got the purple MP at 4. So that actually is going to change how I run this shit.
And actually, that was a good call too, because now I can run Lyra and my check Charlotte the way I need to run them.
Just kind of taking a look here at something.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking of. Now that I know people are going to be running those Armor 2 medals, I may well have to pay attention to those bonuses, both line and for steel cage bonuses, and that way I can make sure it's a guaranteed turn 1.
Need to find someone that does more than 40% purple gem damage. There we go. There we go. Now we're cooking.
We know that you would never bring up for 60% purple damage.
Why? I got Thought 2.
Well, there's one more other person besides Thought 2.
I got Thought 2. Why would I need to?
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you didn't have Thought 2, you know there's that other one person that you even said yourself you want to waste resources on to bring him up because of the 60% purple.
I know. I got Thought 2. I don't need anyone else. That to me is a solid feud lineup to start off. That to me is a solid feud lineup. So I was lucky today out of the bags. I got the 69 loot pulls out of the bags today. Didn't have to spend any money. Just got them for free and got a couple new superstars that I've been wanting. So I was happy about that today. Getting him was a big one for me. And I don't know if I can take him all the way up just right now. But if I can, man, that...
You mean if you could? You know you're not going to be able to. Let's just call it spades right now. You're not going to be able to.
Don't question me because you know better than that. You know I'll find a way, but that is one that I want for Lyra. So bad. I've been wanting him for Lyra so long that I'm going to take it.
Oh, here we go.
Blue moves start with 2 more MP. Red moves start with 2 more MP. And blue and red moves do 50% more damage.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, shit.
So that is someone I've been wanting. But let's get into this and let's really start looking at some lineup, some setups that I think are going to work really well for Feud this weekend. I'm not going to really focus on Fridays because I feel like everyone's got their Friday set up. I'm gonna take a look here. Let's take a look at like some showboat options for Saturday morning on the men's side. One of the ones I like right off the bat is Hall of Fame Right.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the ones I like right off the bat for him. And I run in purple, purple, yellow. But that is one I like right off the bat at the end of the day. I may throw the finisher in just in case kind of thing. That's one I like right off the bat. Obviously, I'll be running Ministry of Taker.
Melody Taker was going to be my first pick.
Well, he's going to go in the Taker spot anyways. He's going to go in the Taker spot. So that's kind of where I'm looking at that from.
I got for my showboat that I got taken in. I'm taking Solo. It's either going to be a coin toss between Solo or it's going to be Rex Regan.
Yeah, I mean, again, picking the purple MP, I feel like helps me probably more than anything because if we're talking attitude era, Big Papa Pump's going to be my guy there on Saturday. Any acro will obviously be fought too. Might be the time to run KO in that raw spot. So it's the two open spots that I'll have to figure out, but probably Cody, a version of Cody. Probably the tech because I like the tech and the 100% yellow gem damage that happens, all weekend. And then the 50% yellow gem damage on top of that. So Tech Cody's probably going to be an option for an open spot. Ozzy Macho always an option, for an open spot. Someone who could benefit this weekend with the yellows and the yellow moves would be Hall of Fame Sean. I think you could see a lot of him this weekend.
Oh, no. He's a pain in the ass to go against. I love to use him, but I hate to go against him.
So that's someone. So I don't have the veer plate on Big Papa Pump. I run the. Let me find my Big Papa Pump here. They all kind of get lost when you have this many.
I run him triple yellow with Mark of a Hero and Bubba Specs.
Yeah, I run the Bubba Specs on him. That's the one I run for sure. Don't know if that's something I want to run or not, though. I'm going to have to run him, but I don't know if I want to put the Bubba Specs on or if I want to go a little crazy. But yeah, triple purple for him. The open spots I feel like are going to be, interchangeable. I feel like my acro. It's not going to change. Ozzy's probably going to be thrown in there for the 50% black gem damage. So I feel like there's opportunities there. Now let's go look at the women because I feel like this is where it's going to start playing a little bit differently. Any striker, well, that's pretty much simple. I think that's pretty much standard Naomi's. No, I know. When they have no MP, they have nothing. Any Raw superstar, I feel like that's going to be Vicaria. Powerhouses for me it's going to be Z-Liv for sure. New Gen, I feel like the only one I can run would be the 80s Liv. She's the only one I've got at 6 gold. And that open slot, there's 3 open slots there. Definitely Tippy's going to go in. 50% multiply. Almost feel like you got to run Showboat Flare there. And probably Tech Flare, if I'm guessing. That's going to be my opinion. But 50% red move damage. Man, I almost feel like you could run Piper in there.
I'm running, as far as striker, I'm running I'm ready Queen Naya.
Well, I'm just looking at the bottom line. Any Raw, any Powerhouse, any New Gen and Open, and the boost is 50% red move damage.
She red or on red gym. Of course, that's the only other person I can think of that come to mind was Lyra.
Naya would be a good option there too.
Have her play.
Naya would absolutely 3 angles be a good option. I feel like Piper, man, that bottom line screams Piper. Screams it.
Bob Piper Niven's already at 6 silver. I'm pretty sure she's gonna fucking pick up this.
I may have to run Piper instead of Liv, and on Saturday evening. Indy, I don't feel like Indy would do as well, just because she's that acro slot, and on the female side, especially Saturday night, there's no acro, so I don't feel like Indy would do as well in that slot. Obviously you got the move and the multiply there, but looking at it, it's not something that.
But either way, in general, if you look at
maybe the middle lines you might be on 3 angles. Maybe on the middle lines you might be on to something. I'm not a big fan of Indy at the end of the day, because it's not red gem, it's red move on Saturday night.
Since you have that yellow gem damage for the overall feud, I really think either way, Asuka's gonna still play a massive role in this feud, regardless.
I'm not saying she won't, but I just feel like the way the AI plays Asuka, they mess it up so much that it's not worth it at the end of the day. I might be wrong, but that's just how I feel. So I'm not saying anything bad. It's just, I know the multi-reversal, but I feel like if you're running just Indy for the multi-reversal, you're better off running Tiffy. I know she doesn't need the boost, but I just feel like if you're looking at a multi-reversal, there's several options out there that can fill those slots for the multi-reversal. With the Powerhouse game, any Z-Liv would do it. 3 angles, that's the thing. I've never got my Indy to hit well. But that's just me. I'm not really the biggest fan of her anyway. So, I might be looking at something different there. She's just never been a big priority for me when looking at it, especially when it comes to acros, because of Tiffy and the Tiffy plate, and because of Icaria. She's kind of been one that I've got her at gold, but she's there to be there kind of thing. Nothing else, nothing more. And I have all the moments, so it's something that I look at maybe a little differently than most. So I think the difference there, 3 angles, is I have the Tiffy plate, so I don't run Tiffy triple blue. I run her purple blue, and just go to town. So I think that may be where the difference kind of lies there with that. I'm not saying Indy doesn't hit as hard or anything like that. Just to me, running her with the Tiffy plate makes a big difference. As far as, how I run it. And then again, I think the other thing that people are going to forget this weekend is that feud perk, from the Money in the Bank briefcase. Depending on what color you pick, will depend on how you kind of run people this weekend. I picked purple specifically. For the female, in case Lyra had the purple move set up, and for my Tiffy so I could stack more move damage on. So there was a lot of thought that went into that I feel like this weekend goes into all that kind of stuff. And I think that's where people are going to kind of miss the boat on this weekend. They're going to forget about their feud perk that they picked. And then looking into Sunday, any Tori Wilson, well, there's only 2 out there, so I feel like you're either going to run the Showboat or the Hall of Famer. I don't think you're going to see a lot of people run the Tech. Any Showboat, again, that's going to be, you're going to see a lot of Oscars and a lot of Maxines, I think, at the end of the day. And then an open slot. For the life of me, I can't think of anyone else that does reinforced gems on the female side.
What's that, the reinforced gems?
Yeah, on the female side. Other than Oscar and Maxine, I can't really think of anyone else who does it.
I'm trying to think. There's Miss and Mrs. Showboat.
Yeah, but I feel like that one, not the biggest fan of that one.
If you manage to pull the necessary reinforced gem plate for her, come to turn 1, I believe it was the blue reinforced gems. She's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
And if you have the moments as well.
Yeah. The bottom line, any Hall of Famer, I feel like there's only one coming for feud.
Holly.
Which means, for me, that Turk's spot is going to be taken up by Go Bex. So Sunday is a 6-star silver Tori Wilson, any Tori. So for me, looking at it from a female side, knowing we're going to see a lot of Molly Hollies, Goat Bex is the one to go in there again with, I think. And I would just run her red, purple, do 90 million turn 1 and use her only against the Hall of Fame Mollies.
And of course, you're going to see more of the Hall of Fame Tori than what you're going to see Showboat Tori.
Well, yeah, that's if they don't mess up like they did last time with that. And I think that's a big thing there, too. You can't mess up that.
I'm hoping that's the case. And I'm hoping that's the case because according to my sources, Showboat Tori is still considered a unicorn within the game.
She is. But I just feel like that's something you're gonna, I hope they don't mess that up, kind of thing. Like they did about a month and a half ago.
Oh yeah.
That is my hope. Not saying it won't happen, but very well could on that. Very well could. So that will be interesting to see at the end of the day. That will be interesting to see at the end of the day. But, I mean, knowing you're going to see a lot of Hall of Fame mollies, I feel like just having that tech killer is just going to be deadly.
Yeah, especially like you said, no facts. That's the only reason why I won't run her at that time.
So, well, all right, chat. We will be live tomorrow for Feud we will talk to you later.